Hey, what's going on, guys? Shane here. Rocking the ponytail now. Can you believe it? So today I got tips for sparring, specifically how to stop getting interrupted. I'm gonna give you 3 concepts that's gonna help with covering the distance, stop you from getting countered, and help you find your rhythm. So that intro clip was taken from sparring last week at Beacon MMA in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Not in New Jersey right now, I'm in Florida actually. But anyway, that was my first time sparring in about a year since COVID started. Not only was it really nice to be back on the mats, but it was a full circle moment for me training at Beacon with head coach and owner Bob Peach. Peach and I used to train back in the day 15 years ago at Dadis MMA in Philadelphia. And since then he's opened up his own school and he's got a phenomenal team and program there. So if you're in the Philly or Cherry Hill area, definitely check out Beacon MMA. So I got the idea for this video when I heard one of his students after sparring ask a question concerning getting interrupted, and Coach Peach had the perfect response. He said, you know, these are growing pains. You're going to need more experience and more rounds. That's kind of the point of sparring, he said. You know, the person who controls the rhythm wins the fight. So let's take a look at this clip again. In this sequence, Devin steps in with a jab, which I interrupt him with my teep. Then he steps in again with a switch kick. Again, I interrupt him with my teep. Now he switches to defense mode and tries to scoop the kick, expecting a third teep. I plan for that, so instead of throwing the teep, I fake it and throw the jab. Now, instead of just thinking offense mode or defense mode, you gotta think conceptually. What is your goal? Now, Devin expressed some frustration at the end of the round, saying that as a wrestler, he just wanted to close off the distance and get the clinch. Now, that's a good, clear goal, but you have to be able to recognize what attacks and counterattacks are readily available dependent upon your distance and your angles. So to help identify inside and outside range, I like to imagine a bubble around myself and around my opponent. Now, the radius of my bubble changes depending upon where I move and which attacks I'm able to use. In this clip, I'm keeping Devin on the outside of my bubble using my longest range attack, my teep, versus his jab, which he would have to step in with in order to hit me. If we were to get to the inside of my bubble, I could adjust and move my feet or change my angle, or I could just use a different ranged attack, right? Uppercuts, hooks, knees, elbows, or I could initiate the clinch myself and get a better position before he does. When you're standing in front of someone sparring, instead of just thinking of an attack and committing to it, I want you to think about it in 3 different parts. So there's the entry, there's the attack or counterattack, and then there's the exit. So the entry is what sets it up. This is going to increase the chances of landing your attack or counterattack, and then your exit ensures that you don't get countered. Instead of just thinking, I'm gonna jab, and then stepping straight forward trying to touch him with jab, think about those 3 parts. What's your setup? How about we fake the jab first to see how I react? I throw that teep, but since you didn't commit to it, you're able to step back or you're able to cut an angle. Now you can throw your attack, the jab, double up on that jab, right? And then from there you can follow up or you can exit. Now we're starting to talk about rhythm and timing. Timing isn't just landing a strike before your opponent does. It's also identifying which attacks and counterattacks are readily available dependent upon weight distribution, body position, angles, and distance. Now, the ability to recognize, react, and control these factors, that's rhythm. The person who dictates the pace wins the fight. You lead the dance. You control your opponent. You want to find your rhythm and you want to disrupt theirs. And that was my goal with these teeps. Land 2, and then create an opening to land my jab by faking the 3rd teep. Now, as you follow Coach Peach's advice to spar more and just gain that experience, you're going to develop the ability to recognize patterns, the same way that you recognize patterns when fighting a video game boss, right? The first time that you fight a Mega Man boss at the end of the stage, he whoops you because you don't know any of his attack patterns or what makes him vulnerable. So, how do you find patterns? By using feints, fakes, jukes, probes, and some pressure mixed in. So we learned about distance and identifying the attacks at each range. And then we talked about the importance of recognizing when to use them with timing. But ultimately, how do you beat that teep? If it's the longest ranged attack and someone's got good timing with it, how do you beat it? Now, probes are the quickest, most effective way to touch someone while keeping your distance. They are your longest, quickest attacks that don't put you in a compromised position, right? So think about a quick teep, a sharp jab, pushing or posting on someone, a side kick, right? Think about touching them or probing them to see how they react. What is their preferred defense? Do they like to block? Do they parry? Are they moving their head? Are they moving their feet? Now, most importantly, what does this open up? How does this compromise their defense? So now we can fake one of those probes, like a teep, to land the jab. Now they're wary of both my jab and my teep. I mix that in with some jukes, some pressure. Now I'm really breaking their rhythm. All right, so what could Devin have done differently to beat my teep? So here's what I teach. When I'm going against someone who's teeping, I keep my hands up until I'm absolutely sure it's a teep and not a fake teep. Sometimes that means letting the teep hit me, okay? So hands stay up, and what he did was he tries to scoop it, and that's good, but again, sometimes it means that my foot has to be touching his stomach before he even releases his hand to do it, or a moment just before then. So what I like doing is taking a micro step back with my rear foot, so I take some of the steam off of the kick. I can also hollow body, meaning sit my butt back a little bit, and then when I realized that it actually is a teep, then I could have scooped that leg. But another one that my preferred defenses that I go to is I go underneath of the foot, the Achilles tendon, I grab with my lead hand, and then I reinforce with my top hand. I grab the top of the foot. So as that teep comes in, I step back, I take some of the pressure off, I make sure it's a teep, and then I grab hold of that kick. From here, I can pull it in, and then I can throw a hook. I can step through, push on the chest, and sweep the support leg out, but Devin's a wrestler, so I want to use this one. You're gonna grab that leg, reinforce, and then take the top hand, you're gonna uppercut underneath of the knee, and then sweep the leg out. If you're a wrestler, I'm sure you've used that takedown before. All right, so if you enjoyed this more conceptual video and you want the technical drills to complement it, then you're gonna love our courses on Fighttips.com. Join our community of martial artists and get back to training. Until next time, be sure to subscribe to get the fight tips before your opponent does. I'm Shane with Fight Tips for the underdogs. Check out this shirt too. Got the Primal line, fighttipsgear.com. See you there.